Guys, girls, everyone else, welcome back. The Heavyset Podcast, right? So we're back. The two main men. So we got Simon and we got Scotty T.
You are too kind.
We are back. How the devil are you doing?
Not too bad.
Good. As always.
Yeah? As always.
Grateful to be here. Grateful to be here.
Yeah.
It can always be a little bit worse, JP.
Yeah,
true. That's a good way of looking at life.
True. So we've always got to say thank you to our listeners, Thank you for listening. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Just before we move on, it'd be nice if some of the listeners were to just hit us up. If you want to like, subscribe, forward it on to anyone, please do. It helps us, helps the channel. If you wouldn't mind also just a comment in the comment section, anything that you want us to talk about, maybe discuss, maybe bring up, maybe we can have some phone-ins, maybe we can have some emails, some videos. We can certainly play it out for you guys. But thank you very much. We'll get back to it. So, Angel's given us a bit of a challenge. She's got some evil plans, I think, for us. But she's titled this episode very carefully, Life's Legends. Life's Legends. Who, dead or alive, am I getting that right? There you go, right? Life's Legends. Who are your life's legends, dead or alive, from any point in time?
Simon, I'm going to go first. I'm going to keep it super personal.
Go on.
Actually. So before we talk about sports stars, movie stars, pop stars, I'm going to pick up my old man. My old man's my hero, like absolute legend. So my old man, to me, is what a bloke should be. And I know I've spoke to you both on this, but I'll share it wider. He is both courageous, fierce, and protective, and also sensitive, loving and caring. So I think in my life, if I was to do a tally of the amount of cuddles I've got per person I've ever met in my life, it's my dad. Yeah. But I've probably got the equal amount of scoldings. And I say that because I think as dudes and as fathers, I think particularly the past generation, there's a kind of perspective that you've got to be quite stern. You've got to be strong, especially within West Indian communities, got to be quite stoic and almost emotionally removed. And my dad definitely comes from that generation, but has always shown that love, care and attention. And I think not only that's how a man should be, that's how a human should be. And I enjoy human interaction and kind of pride myself in making each interaction as positive as it can be. And that's for my old man. So he is my hero because he's taught me not only how to be a man, but how to be a human. And I thank him for that.
Beautiful, bro. So Mr. Taylor.
Mr. T.
Mr. T Senior.
The actual Mr. T.
The real one, the real Mr. T. Not
get your clubber lang.
Come on, bro.
This is the real
Mr. T. So he's here right now, right? I mean, he's not here right now.
He's here right now.
He's in the heart. He's everywhere, right? Yeah. Give me one thing you'd want to say to your dad that you've never said to him.
I've never said to him.
You've never said to him. And you know what? You probably should, because time is ticking for all of us, my friend. What do you want to say to Mr. T?
Oh, that's powerful. That's really, really powerful. So I would say that in my scariest moments, in my moments of biggest doubt, in my moments where I've really needed kind of that guidance, that kind of direction, that roadmap on what do I do? Do I do this? Do I do that? Do I react this way? Do I react that way? Without doubt, my old man's voice is what jumps into my head. Mum too, big up Mumsy. We'll talk about her and I, she's a lioness. But his voice is the first thing that comes into my head as that like the Lion King, that kind of that echoey voice. Or do you remember Thundercats?
Oh,
yeah, I can't think the main guy's name, the kind of ghostly kind of cat figure. Forget his name, but he was guiding Lion-O, right? Because Lion-O was a hero, but at the same time he needed help, right? And my dad's voice is that voice that kind of echoes from somewhere else. That's always given me the courage and the conviction to take the step. So big up, Dad. I bloody love you for that.
Love that, bro.
Yeah,
Mr. T, life's current legend for you.
That's right. 100%.
Sheesh.
100%.
Simon, good luck following from that, bro. I ain't gonna lie. That's kind of touched me.
I
don't know about the ladies in the back, but that's a little damn. That's good.
You can't follow that.
No, I don't think any of us could.
Because I think my influences were probably a little bit different to that growing up, and mine were predominantly, TV characters, superheroes, comic book and they were the ones that kind of shaped me, right? Mine was like just watching Superman movies over and over and over when I was a kid. The original Christopher Reeve films, and wanting to be like Superman. Have the same kind of morals and integrity and stuff like that. And actually, I think these were really good role models to have when you was a kid, right? So I would just watch these videos until the videos broke. And so Superman was probably the first one for me, right? And the reason I never smoked a cigarette in my life was because Superman was like, X-raying people going, you shouldn't smoke. Right? But there was always that nice integrity and that heart that he had, right? And compassion for people that I just loved it. That became part of my personality, I think, to a degree, because I wanted to be Superman. And then at a really young age, I started watching Rocky movies, Rocky 1 and 2, right? And because I think they were the only ones out when I was a kid anyway. And because I had learning difficulties as a kid, and the only thing I really excelled at school or got any respect for teachers or pupils and everything else was really when I did sport. So I liked that kind of, he wasn't the most intelligent guy. Everybody tried to make out he was a bit of a fool, didn't really give him respect and things like this. But he had this ability and this opportunity to try and prove people wrong, right? And that was a really inspirational thing for me. So, I was boxing at a really young age because I wanted to be like Rocky. I was wearing blue vests because I wanted to feel like I was like Superman under my school shirt.
For sure.
But you know what? I look at that and I think these guys genuinely had a big impact on my life, molding my personality of what I wanted to be because I was inspired to them. I think a lot of that is missed in today's world. I mean, you mentioned Thundercats, right? You had Lionel and stuff. And you can look back at some of the old kind of retro cartoons, He-Man, all these. Generally, they had all these superpowers, right? And they could take over the world if they wanted to, but they wanted to be the good guy. And they wanted to use the gifts they had for good. And I think these were good characters to mold personalities around when you're a kid. And I think things today are very dark, right? And even watching the new Superman movie at the weekend, right? And I liked it, I have to say, right? I thought I wasn't going to like it. Okay, honestly did. But I liked it because I thought they brought back the element of the heart of Superman, right? And it was a good way the story was portrayed on that basis, right? There's things I thought maybe a bit different, but I thought maybe they would twist the story of his parents and it actually turned out that they were all good, not like that part, right?
Try and take over the world.
But it was quite
Spoilers
nice.
Though, Simon. Spoilers.
Spoiler
if you ain't seen it, no.
Definitely watch it though.
We're going to put a spoiler alert.
You know what? Some of these movies, some of the superhero movies, I love all the Avenger films and everything else, right? But some of them, they get dark, right? And you've got to remember there's a lot of kids watching these things. A lot of these kids are putting these people as their heroes. And there's an element of darkness to it in a lot of things on TV now. And I think that doesn't create a good aura around certain things, right? Just because it's just doesn't make people feel good. Whereby you look back at some of the stuff that we might have grown up with, and they generally did help mold your life. We all had heroes that were movie stars and TV characters and everything else. And I was that kid that was very influenced by those characters. And honestly, I look at things now and I think a lot of my personality is based upon those characters. I also think if it wasn't for some of those characters, especially the Rocky character, because of the problems I had as a kid. Because it was different back then. If you wasn't smart, and obviously I was dyslexic, you were just a naughty kid. It wasn't like you were given any help, put on a care plan, given additional support. You were just a naughty kid. And that's how you were treated and everything else, right? So when you have a character who's almost like, people think I'm a bit of a dunce, but I'm going to prove people wrong and I can be something. That was quite inspiring for someone like me. That was almost like, if you work hard, it's like the whole training bits with Rocky, right? If you
of course.
work hard, you put all the effort in and everything else, there's kind of no stopping you. You can do it. These were the big ones for me. So when I look at the legends in my life, like, your story is amazing, by the way, right? But I haven't really got those stories on that influence side of things. But all of my influences come from all the TV I've watched.
It's not a problem. That's a good thing, though. But even the character. So you got you got Rocky on one side, you got Superman, but you got Christopher Reeve. You've also then got Sylvester Stallone.
100%.
In themselves, they were pretty good standing men, good standing people.
Yep.
They live by a certain set of rules too, right? So Sylvester Stallone, for instance, he's still training nowadays, right?
Oh yeah, he looks amazing.
Right.
What's the guy now? 70?
It's got to be 70.
And then, and a couple of change,
He still lifted. Look, he's an inspirational character, right? Because obviously, being a Rocky fan, we probably all looked at his backstory is pretty exceptional, right?
Yeah.
He wrote the Rocky script.
Yeah.
And he was being offered a lot of money for that script, and they were looking at people. I think Burt Reynolds was going to pay Rocky originally.
Yeah, I heard that.
And in the end, he was like, do you know what? He had no money at that time. So the money he was being offered for the script was life-changing amount of money for him, right? But then he thought, this is my opportunity.
Yeah.
It's like, this film's only being made if I'm the star.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they gave him a few ultimatums on that, right? But he was a nobody. No one knew who Sylvester Stallone was.
Mm-hmm.
I think Rocky that year won the best Oscar.
It did, didn't it? Yeah. Best picture.
Which is just huge for a guy that, got to remember, he didn't just play Rocky. He wrote the story. He created the character, right? And it was done from nothing.
Yeah.
And I know he talks about his religious beliefs and he talks about his faith journey and things like this and how important that was to him in all of that. But, it's an interesting because there's an element of, even for him, there's an element of that character is actually 100%. Portraying his own kind of life during the story. Yeah. And I think it always has done, and a lot of his characters have had a very similar kind of thing to even Rambo. Was,
There's a struggle.
Yeah, there's a struggle, He fought for his country and then the Vietnam War. He was rejected when he came back. And not only was he rejected, he was looked upon like he was a criminal.
Yeah, he's massively ostracized. Came into town, didn't he? They tried to drive him out.
Absolutely.
Blamed him and all the issues that we've got nowadays with all those kinds of things.
And it's quite hard. And, what he was doing at that time, he was helping tell the story that was real. There was a lot of guys that fought this war for their country. It wasn't their war.
Yeah.
Right? They didn't,
Never is.
But they fought that war. It was a government war. It was a leadership. We want this war,
of course,
right? So as a soldier, you're not fighting your own war. You're fighting someone else's war. They come back, and they were left in bad positions, right? And he was kind of trying to tell that story. I mean, interestingly, the thing is the original, the original end of Rocky. He dies.
It's a dark ending.
He gets shot, doesn't he?
Rambo, the dark,
Rambo.
Yeah.
And because you can see it on YouTube. It's on YouTube. So he gets killed.
Dark.
And then they went back and they refilmed the ending because there was this decision like this isn't right.
Yeah. I didn't know this.
He needs to,
I didn't know that.
It's just if people that don't know that, then YouTube it.
Yeah, 100%.
See the original ending, when they're in the little hut and he's with Colonel Troutman. Yeah. He gets shot, he dies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And they went back and they refilmed it and they kept the character alive. Man. What would we have done with Rocky? Rambo 2,
Rambo 3. Come on.
What would we have done without those movies if they had killed Rambo off?
It does speak to the power of positive imagery, doesn't it? Something you just said then, Si, about this shapes the man you've become. So these movies, they're just movies, right? But here you are, as a grown man with life experience behind you, and many of the decisions you've made in your life are shaped by these just movies that you watched as a kid. I remember I've come up from a time when Mortal Kombat, remember the game?
Man.
And it was considered gory. We look at it now, the graphics are shocking. You can barely make out.
Nothing.
But the argument was, that's going to negatively influence our kids into kind of being violent, etc. And kind of, it goes over your head. And then Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
It's the argument is it's going to negatively influence us.
So how many cars did you nick?
Yeah, I didn't. Exactly. I've never.
You're just saying that because you're on the microphone now.
But yeah, for the purpose of the same, never. It wasn't me. But it goes on. And then now we're in a TikTok generation where you can easily kind of rot your brain for 2 hours by just consuming stuff that's spat at you. And I think there's a lot to be said for actually being selective about the information that you allow yourself to take in. So you're the man you are now because of those positive images that you were fed. We live in a time now, I don't know about you guys, but do these films exist now? Are they made in the same way? Do our kids have the opportunity to look at stories about distinct goodies and distinct, like you say, superhero films, it's quite blurry lines these days. Is there that distinction between good and bad? Perhaps we should be more selective about what we consume.
It's quite a hard one, isn't it? Right? Because you look at, the Batman movies have been made multiple times now, right? And I haven't seen the recent one, right? But my eldest son, he's 22, and he was telling me about it. But these movies get darker and darker and darker.
They do.
And the backstory gets darker and darker and darker. And it does that have a positive impact?
Yeah.
Now, probably the last superhero movie I can think of that was quite a good one on that basis was probably the Captain America movie, right?
Yeah.
Because the first one is all about the fact that they chose him because he was the really weak guy. Mm-hmm. He was brave and he had this integrity, right? So the risk was giving somebody all this power that could misuse it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And most people would.
100%.
Let's face it, right?
100%.
You have to be honest with that. Everyone likes to think they're a really good guy and stuff, but suddenly you had that kind of extreme power, superhero power. You potentially would abuse it in some way, right?
For sure.
But even those ones, they didn't have that same feel you had, because I think films today are very much special effects driven.
Yeah.
And when you didn't have all the special effects, you had to use emotions,
story. Yeah,
right?
Of course.
And also, when we're living in a world where everything's AI driven now.
Yeah.
And I think the human side of it, love, compassion, empathy, all of these things, they're gone.
Yeah.
So most of the movies you would have watched growing up, right, whether it be a Rocky movie, right, you got to remember there was still a love story in the Rocky movie with Adrian, right? And it was a nice love story, one of the best love stories in
traditional
all of the
love story, right?
It was, right. But you had even if you go back Top Gun, you still had the sad parts where his friend dies.
Yeah.
You had the love, you had the relationship building, you had all these things. Most movies ticked every box. Goodie, baddie, love story, relationships, losses, all of these things. So when you watch that movie, you had all the different emotions. It's like music from, say, the 80s and the 90s. All the love songs were the 80s and the 90s, right? And they still are the love songs of today because
it's getting remixed now.
They are, because there was an element of, it was what attracted you to that music from my side was the emotions.
Yeah.
It was the fact that you listened to a love song, you wanted to be in love.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You was at a school disco, right? And you all the slow songs would come on at the end of the night, and all you wanted to do is find someone to dance with.
Right.
Just
can't dance by myself. FYI, just telling you that, right? Bad days.
But because of those emotions I think we had growing up, you wanted to have a girlfriend. Of course you wanted to be in a relationship. You wanted to be in love. You thought every relationship you had, you was madly in love, right? Because you wanted these things. I don't think a lot of the youngsters today want these things because they don't have those emotions, because they don't have the love songs and the movies, and all of, like I say, so you're sitting there watching that movie and you're getting really into it and you have all those different feelings, the love, the loss, the emotions, the good guy, the bad guy, all of these things. You don't have that now. Those things don't really exist. There's some great movies around, don't get me wrong, with amazing stories, but you don't get that human side to it.
So it's not as clear cut. You used to have these little boxes. You know what to expect.
Yeah.
Sylvester Stallone's written a story where you've got, like I said, someone that's from maybe a background where he's not supposed to win. He's got a love interest that really doesn't really love him at the start.
Yeah.
He's got no chance of winning the actual fight.
Yep.
And then succeeding in life, no one else thinks he can do anything at all. Even his best friend, Paulie, just thinks, I'll give you my sister for a couple of minutes. I'll take him out, right? So you're saying, because of how Sylvester Stallone wrote that, how you've processed your life and you've put it into nice, clear boxes.
Yep.
Am I reading that right?
Yeah, kind of. But you know what it was? When you can relate things in your life to a character.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And I think what it was with me, the dyslexic side of it growing up, right? I was so far behind all the other kids when it was education. And then you just treat like you're a naughty kid.
Yeah.
And that's how it was. But when I did sport, school, I was like the fastest kid in my school, like 3 years before the last year, right?
Nice.
And I was breaking records, winning district sports, even secondary school, Hertfordshire champion, Hertfordshire record holder, 100 meters, all of these things, right? England schools and all these things I did. The only time I got called up in assembly and given a certificate, given a trophy, teachers all wanted to be my friend, and everyone wanted, was when it was sport kind of related, right? And when I could achieve something. And I think there was this relatability of, I wasn't good academically, right?
Yeah.
But I got respect for these things.
Yeah.
So I kind of found an area where I could get respect for something, and that would make me feel good. Now, if I wasn't good at sport, I don't know where I would have been on that basis, right?
Yeah.
Because then that's really difficult. So for a kid with those learning problems, not to be good at anything, or to have any kind of hope or get any respect or credit from anybody, that would have been a hard one to take. So I was very lucky on that basis. But then I think because of the relationship with the Rocky character, it made me work really hard at sport, right? So I from a young age, I was overtrained, right? I overdid everything. I worked too hard on everything.
Yeah.
As I got older, I got injuries because I was too focused on must be 100%.
Yeah.
And that was because we all watched the Rocky montages. And
of course.
Training
Right?
supposed to be hard.
Yeah.
Right? But it set this thing up in me. And it's probably, it could be a good thing or bad thing, but even with business and everything else, right, and life in general, it's like if you work hard and you put 100% effort and you just keep trying, even when it gets hard.
Yeah.
Because don't get me wrong, life is not easy, right? We've had these conversations. Life is really, really, really tough. Business is tough. It takes balls to make a decision to say, okay, I'm going to risk losing everything to try and make something.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people have the balls and the courage to do it.
Yeah.
Right. And I think there's an element of, like I say, you talk about these characters. I think there's this thing in me where it's like, no, I now honestly believe I can achieve anything when I put the effort in. I mean, I'm waffling on a lot now, but I'll let you talk in a minute, Scott.
That's all good. Keep going, mate.
You know what? When I turned 30, I did the natural bodybuilding, right? And this is an analogy I use a little bit for business as well. But I looked at it and it's like, okay, I'm going to do natural bodybuilding. Everybody's natural, right? So I just had this mindset that if everybody's natural and I'm willing to work really hard, doesn't matter that I'm 30 at that point, right? I can be a British champion, right? Mm-hmm. And I never changed that mindset.
Yeah.
And even when someone said to me, a really respectable person in that field said to me, mate, he said, what do you want to get out of this? And I was like, I want to be a British champion. He goes, it's never going to happen. You started at 30. But no chance. You won't build enough muscle. You won't do this. You won't do that. So, and I still didn't let that change that mindset. Yeah. I still was, no. I still believe I can do this. Yeah. And I did. At 37, I won the British title and stuff, right? And it was a really good journey. And I loved the whole, I'm not a bodybuilding fan, but I loved the process of getting into that kind of shape and doing it. But it was the fact that it's that self-belief.
Yeah.
Right. And then I realized, and that's even a faith-driven thing where nothing knocked the fact that I didn't believe that I could win that British title. Now, if I didn't believe and I listened to other people, I wouldn't have put the effort in. I wouldn't have done the diet. I wouldn't have gone through the journey. I wouldn't have it's not an easy thing to do, right? I wouldn't have taken the first step unless I believed I could do it. And that's when I look at business and I think to myself, unless you fully 100% believe in yourself and back yourself that you can achieve something or create something, you won't ever start. And it's having that belief and that vision that ultimately creates stuff.
Yeah. That's cool and super inspiring. And it sounds like a lot of that is kind of fueled by those kind of early experiences with those movies, and sharing that is powerful for people watching. I wonder where, I've got my own heroes to fall back on, as have you. I'm sure you have, JP. But I wonder where people that don't feel like they've got that. So we live in an absence of goodies and baddies.
Yep.
We don't have Rocky movies like we used to, Rambo movies, Arnie movies like we used to. So there's no obvious.
And you mentioned your dad as well. Not everyone has a dad.
This is where I was going. So He-Man, all of these images that we just took for granted, these are the things that shapes us. So a person with the ability to kind of change outcomes through grit, determination, perseverance, etc. So that our kids don't see so much of that, not in my experience. And then like you said, JP, so I've got my dad and my mum, like two huge figures in my life that even now, I'm going to be 44 in September, I know behind me is them. So whatever happens, I know behind me is them. So I can I've got courage to move forward because I know I've got a squad behind me. And that's pretty empowering. I feel very blessed to have that. But what about people that don't? Like, where do they, so in today's climate, where does somebody learn those traits from? That's what I question.
So let's not ask the question, let's try and find the solution. Go on then, what do you reckon? So what can we do? Because I think we've discussed this before.
We have discussed
this. And the point of this whole podcast.
Your brain is in my brain.
Right. So what do we do, Scotty, too?
So I think, and Simon was speaking out, I said, what do we want this to become? What is it? So we're sharing our experiences, being open, frank and honest. And hopefully someone can listen and pick some nuggets from it. And I think that probably is the crusade, right? Like, I don't have all the answers. I'm sure you don't, JP, and Simon, I'm sure you don't, right?
Close.
But what we do have is some combined life experience.
Yeah.
Some wins and definitely some losses.
A lot of losses.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Yeah. We lose more than we win.
Well, this is it. And now I'm not painting us as today's A-team, although that might be quite cool.
That's not bad.
We have a Mr. T.
Mr. T's he's there. He's not getting on no plane, though.
Yeah. Actually, I don't like flying, so that makes sense. I'm not saying, but maybe that's what the mission is. Maybe it is about kind of curating a circle that's a bit wider than us, that maybe people could lean into. Maybe people can kind of share ideas, kind of share kind of wins and losses, share kind of questions and doubts. And like between us, maybe we could be that Sylvester Stallone influence. Maybe we could be that kind of that Rocky character.
Okay.
That someone takes away with them to make better decisions as their life goes on. I'm just kind of listening to what those images meant to you. And I've got some that are dear to my own heart. And I just feel like there's an absence of that kind of thing. In current society.
So we don't have the answers. We'll be first to hold our hands up, right? Hopefully some of the listeners might do then. So why don't we put it out a little bit? Why don't we just say in the comment section, people just say, look, whether you got a question, whether you got an answer, whether you got a story, just share it. And at least everyone could just share it. You know, they can hear our voices, they can see our faces, but why don't they do the same?
Do you know
there's power in that?
It's funny, isn't it, right? Because a lot of what you can watch on YouTube now, and it very much is real life stories.
Yeah.
Right. And you look at stuff and I even look at the Bible, right? It's based on real life stories.
Of course, yeah.
It's not fictional characters. It's real life stories, multiple characters that you could list out, right? Where it's their journey and their story. And there's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end. There's good, there's bad, there's killing, there's fighting, there's loving, there's trials, tribulations, there's death, there's the
stories being told,
There's all of these things, right? And it's general real life. I think that the big thing for us, I think what we've found, and even we're doing this, which has been, it's interesting, is talking's really important, 100%, right? My fear for the generations coming through are the fact that, like when we were all early teenagers and we were hanging around in a local park late in the evening with all our friends, right?
Yeah.
Somebody had said to us, oh, you know what? People of your age in 20 years, 30 years time, they won't be doing this. They'll be in their bedroom looking at pictures of other people on a phone.
Yeah.
Right? We would have gone, we would have laughed.
Yeah,
we'd have gone,
true.
you're mad. What are you on about? And when we were like jumping on our bike, going around our friend's house to do like a FIFA tournament, right? And we were all there together, ordering pizza, all playing together, watching each other, play each other, cheering people on, who gets into the final, who wins. And it was a big social thing on a Saturday, right? Which was good fun.
Yeah.
And we did that right into like early 20s still. Meet up and go around someone's house, do a FIFA tournament, right? Order some, like have some beers and a pizza and all this. If someone had said, oh, you guys won't be doing that in the future. You'll all just be headphones playing online against each other. You won't meet up. There won't be a social thing. You won't be having some beers and ordering pizza.
Yeah.
I would have gone, whatever. Like this is ever going to stop. Like, why would we want to all talk to each other with headphones?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't? And that is the world, what the world has become. So that social thing, and think about like, you could be in your bedroom on your earphones playing the computer, right? And you win the tournament and you're celebrating. It's like, yeah, it's amazing. I beat everyone else online, right?
Yeah.
But then what is being missed is that whole social experience.
Yeah, of course.
Where we're all together, enjoying a moment together, looking in someone's eyes, watching them celebrate, watching someone lose. And it's like,
rubbing it in.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
you know what? Because
of course.
And it's funny we say like reminiscing, because that banter that I think we have, our generation has, that banter doesn't really exist.
It makes you resilient
so much.
It's just an essential part of life.
It's little things I do with my kids, right? And they do it back now, and they've got it because I've had to create with them because, it doesn't. But like the 1-0s. When you trick someone, there's like 1-0.
Oh, yeah.
So we're always doing
competition.
it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we're always doing it with each other.
Yeah.
Like,
healthy jibes.
Yeah. And it's just trying to create that banter that I don't think really exists as much today as it did kind of back then.
Yeah.
So I think the social side of it, communication, talking, getting together, like.
I've been thinking about this, and I think in the world that we're going into, an AI-driven world where kind of a lot of the heavy lifting can be automated, or not currently, but probably in about 5, certainly into about 10 years, much of the heavy lifting in many, many, many businesses can be automated.
Yep.
So we as people, where does that leave us? And I'm sure you would have all heard conversations and been part of conversations about this. And I think that's quite a scary prospect. That is quite a scary prospect. But I hope and I pray that there's a silver lining to that. Because all those things that you described, like that, I remember being 15, stood around in a park and all of your years there, and you've got pals in other schools, and everyone's, we've got this contact point. Do I want my kids hanging around in a dark park? Probably not. But the fact is, some of my fondest memories were in and around that environment.
Of course it was.
Because it spoke to like human connection. You were learning how to kind of give and take in communication. You were learning how to kind of court. You were learning how to do loads and loads of things that I think they're, because of quite a digital and remote age, there is less of that. So what I pray is that in a day and age when computers can do a lot more of the stuff that humans have to actually do, maybe we can get out of our working from home environments, and maybe the currency for the future is in that human connection.
Yeah.
What I hope, I'm quite idealistic, and I can be sometimes overly optimistic, but I think that something that's missing, I look at my kids and look at how they connect, and I think something that's missing is that human face-to-face stuff. Look at what we do.
Yep.
Like we can talk on the phone, but I guarantee every time we sit around and look each other in the eye, I get something. I don't know what the thing is. You can't measure it. You can't put it in a cup.
Yeah.
But there is always a hum, a warmth that comes from these face-to-face contacts. And I feel very privileged and I think it's very precious. But I'm also acutely aware that a lot of people don't have that across their day or their week or their month.
Yeah.
So then what of them? If every time we do this, I feel I'm up here, what if that never happens? Where am I then? And going back to what we could create, it's a network, but of conversation and of support. But actually, maybe it's a little bit more than that. Maybe it is the actual connection. Maybe part that needs to be face to face. I think there's something missing. So this society, there's the depression levels are through the floor, and people are never feeling more isolated than ever. And there's lots and lots of things going on. And I think a lot of that speaks to what you were talking about, an absence of humans connecting with humans. Man.
Why don't we try and get people together then? I don't know how we're going to do that, by the way. I've just said it. I should have thought about it before I said it.
Yeah, I think I started it, JP, and I haven't thought about it either.
Look, I don't know, like you said, we don't know where this is going to go to, but why don't we just try? There's plenty. I think the way that you're talking about AI taking over, the Terminator is coming. By the way.
100%.
Skynet flying over. By the way,
fact.
they're just there, by the way. Right? Skynet starts over there. Angel, she's that. I'm telling you, she's there, right?
On that frequency.
Yeah. But what it actually gives us then is more free time, surely. The heavy lifting of the thoughts, the maths, the composing emails, the organizing our day-to-day schedules. If AI can do that, what it then does for us is takes that responsibility away. So therefore, we've got less excuses to spend more time with each other. Maybe we should look at it that way.
More capacity to spend.
Or we're just going to do more work.
It's quite scary though, right? Because me and my wife were having this conversation actually the other day, and we were actually talking about it, and we were like, with AI. So I've been using AI for a long time.
And
AI is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got to be careful. You need to know the subject or something about the subject you're trying to use it for. Yeah. Because, you can be easily fooled, and you see it sometimes in emails and things like this where other people have sent stuff to you. It's clearly AI. There's contradicting things in there where they're probably not putting the right information, or AI doesn't quite know who said this and who said that, right? You have to be very, very, very careful. But kind of what we were saying about is like the theories, okay, is so when we all started using calculators, right? And it was a basic sum. You put that sum into the calculator, you trust the answer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was working some stuff out, business stuff yesterday, some commercials for a retailer, and I'm working on that. And it's telling me, you know, this is what you're going to make. These are your margins. I trust that calculator.
Yeah.
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Right. And we all use calculators to do our maths, and we trust it.
Mm-hmm.
We're moving into this world where people are going to trust AI like they trust a calculator.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Now, the thing we were talking about is like, okay, so we're gonna move into a world where if AI tells you something, whether it's wrong or whether it's right, you're gonna believe it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we're gonna trust it like we trust the calculator. And the scary side of that is again, you know, the human element is taken out of the ability to think and actually not even think, feel, have an opinion, which is important.
Mm-hmm.
So when people look at politics and they look at politics is a great example, right? Actually saying that boring subject can be, I think when you're in business, you look at politics a bit more because it affects you in different ways.
I think it affects everyone, to be honest. It's a boring subject, but it literally affects our day-to-day life.
You can kind of see whereby, you know, if there was a vote in 10 years for AI to be the next prime minister, right? People would probably vote, I'm quite happy having this computer, right? This machine,
of course.
Tell us how we need to run the country. And I'm quite happy now to never have to worry about this ever again and just let the machines dictate everything, right? And that's because, you know, there's a lazy side to us and we love using the calculator because we don't have to think. And the calculator, I always go back to the calculators. For a kid like me, calculator was like amazing.
Yeah, of course.
Like, damn, man, I'm good at maths. This is giving me the right answer every time, right? But look, I've done it with the kids' homework where we've looked at some homework. What on earth does this mean, right? You've got this worksheet and these questions and it's not, I've just took a photo of it on with ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
And it's gone, oh, this is such and such an equation. Do you want me to explain how you need to work these questions out? And you go, yeah, tell me what you do. So takes you a list of it. It's like, it becomes like a school teacher.
Yeah, of course.
Telling me, the parent, who should know more than my kids, but doesn't. Yeah. It's telling me how that sum should be calculated. Right. And then it goes, now do you want me to give you the answers? And it's like, well, I tell you what, because we've done it and everything else, and I want to check we've got it right. Yeah. Right. And you know, but then the trust element becomes so much that there's a lack of not ever having to think.
Fact checking.
And if humans stop thinking, we stop creating.
Yeah.
And then how boring does life become? Yeah, we might have more time to talk, but we need to be creative beings. Right? Since day one, we build, we make, and we create.
Yeah.
Right? Not all good, not all bad.
Yeah.
Right? We don't always get it right, but we need to be creative beings because we were designed to be creative.
True.
And AI will take that away from us.
But we created AI, did we not? So we've created it.
Could take that away. Yeah, it could. It could. Or it could give us more capacity to do just that, I think. Say for example, you spoke about that kind of homework analogy. There's a snapshot, and ChatGPT has told you how to break down that sum. By the way, some of these, my 14-year-old baffled. I've got to go back into the Wayback Machine, Google stuff to work out how I used to be able to do something that was second nature. But if the future is that sort of stuff, computer can just work it out quickly, do we need to drill our kids into learning how to do something that's going to be of no use across their lives anyway?
Yep.
So maybe, and this is me being idealistic, this is the serial optimist. I can't help but hold this position. Maybe does that give us the space to relook at the education system and for once start to impart actual lessons into our children that can progress them? So that creative, that inner creative, like we are all having inner creative. Yeah. And unfortunately for many people, because we get stuck in a kind of rut, kind of process-driven environments through our working environments. Actually, life can be a little bit ticky-boxy and process-driven. Then we're not, that creative in us can dwindle away. But if we accept that there's something that's going to do the number crunching, maybe the whole education system could change it. Maybe we could teach our kids how to actually say start a business. Yeah. Well, actually, this is how you sort your taxes out. well, actually, this is
we were just talking about that, Simon. Do you remember? Talking about interest rates and talk about
this,
whether we should rent or buy.
How do you invest money? I'm not clued up on investment, and I could be had I been taught it from school. And actually, if I spent less time on calculus, which by the way I've never used since leaving school.
No, I don't know what it means.
And more time on how to kind of partition my wages so there's a little bit in a locker for later, and then actually I could have covered probably more ground in life. And maybe I could have built something and kind of been driven to do other things. So maybe the calculator, you just learn to trust it. We don't worry about the fact that the calculator is making us less good at mental arithmetic, even though it definitely is. Maybe part of the AI revolution is that, okay, we'll let it do that and we can go on and do other things.
Yeah.
Maybe there's not. Maybe there's a silver lining. Or maybe the machine's going to take over and we're screwed. Yeah,
so with that being said, right?
Well, just the scary thing if we went all the way back to the start of this conversation, right? Can you imagine in 100 years, you're asking somebody, who's your legend?
Oh, here we go.
And they go, ChatGPT. Look at the world we live in today.
ChatGPT. It's listening to us now, by the way.
We've got to be careful.
No, it's true.
You'll be first on the Terminator list.
My name's Scott Taylor, by the way.
There'll be some guy going
off on the way home.
Going back to the 80s, looking in the phone book. Go ahead, JP.
Phone books. Now that is classic. People. You guys were talking about tapes before, VHS. People have no idea what we're talking about here. All right,
Special
a phone book, paper.
Yeah.
Cool. So, guys, listen. We've talked about loads of stuff. Your life's legends. We went into AI. We talked about, I think, hope maybe out of all of this, right? Maybe that's the message for today.
Take that.
Hope. Because that's what you two are doing for me, right?
It's a biblical word.
It's hope, right? And if we could share that message to anyone else and everyone else, please, let's push it out. So guys, if you like our content, if you wouldn't mind sharing it, if you certainly want to comment on stuff, we are more than happy to take some answers, some questions, maybe some other subjects. So it's a Heavy Set Podcast. Thank you very much for listening, and we will be back another time. Take care.